All right, we are live. Welcome back to Slim Comics and More. My name is Sean. I have a special guest today. Her name is Karla Nappi. So she is the writer of Duplicant. So these are the two books that she is writing right now. It's sold out in all of my LCSs around here. This is a great book. It's a great read. So she is going to come in pretty soon. She is setting up. Hey, Rob, how are you? Nice you stop in. There's a link there if you guys want to hop in. If you guys want to talk to Karla also. But yeah, she is the writer of Duplicant. So I met her on Spinetix last Saturday. It's about manufacturing of spare parts, body parts, duplicate parts. If you like lose a limb or so, you can get new parts, but it's sold to the. It's like the cost is that you are sold to the highest bidder, so you are kind of like you have to serve your owner, which is yeah. I gotta talk to Karla about that and see how it goes. Angel, how you doing? Nice of you to stop in. All right, so Karla is setting up. I am just gonna chat about this book. So this book it's a great read. It's sold out in all of my LCSs. This book, it talks about people, if you lose a limb or if you use your lungs or stuff, they can duplicate the lungs, and you are called a duplicant. So that's kind of like the premise of the story. Yeah, it's trying to save lives. This scientist is Dr. Matt Travers. So he creates a machine or so that with nanites or nanobites or so that can duplicate body parts, and it should help people stay alive. All right, so here is our special guest. This is Karla Nappi, the writer of Duplicant. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Sorry I'm running late.
No problem. Nice of you to stop in. Thank you for coming in my channel.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, so yeah, I met you on Spinetix. You popped in, and yeah, it was a great time. It was nice meeting you.
Yeah, I decided to surprise everyone and hop in and do a couple of giveaways. I thought it would be a nice surprise.
Right, cool. So we got some couple people in chat. Rob from Cool Stuff Collectibles. How are you? Angel from Pages, Films, and Plastic. Dystopian Future. Yeah, it's a different. It's a different take. So you used to be a film TV writer, correct?
Writer and script coordinator, clearance coordinator, assistant. I kind of wore a bunch of different hats while I was working in the film and TV industry.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Was the comic industry easy to transition from film and TV?
I wouldn't necessarily say it was easy. It was easier than trying to get into film and TV. I took the writing classes to learn how to write comic books because I just didn't know how that format was written. And I definitely found comic books more welcoming, way more welcoming, much more friendly. I was able to make contacts with people a lot more easily. People were more giving of their time and willing to help me understand the way things work. And that's a big difference from what it was like in TV, where that wasn't always the case.
Gotcha. Okay. So so you started, I believe, it used to be well, you started with a film and TV, and then it says here from the letter to the fans that you wrote. So it says that you had like the TV writers, and it used to be kind of like your take on Dallas, Who Shot JR.
So
Was that part two?
So Duplicant was originally a pilot script, and so I adapted the comic from the pilot script.
Okay.
But my love of cliffhangers, and I used like what happened when JR got shot, that one like infamous summer, and then everyone, that was when people had to like wait the summer to see whether he survived or not. So that's what I've been trying to do with every issue, is have some sort of like big like nail biter cliffhanger
Right.
that I end things on.
Nice. Because I read part the second issue, and at the ending was like, wow, what happened? What's going on there? Like, wow, okay. Looking forward to 3. So the first issue had a lot of stuff going on, but it was very enjoyable.
Oh, thank you.
So let's see here. Have they optioned the comic? Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I wish. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I've been pushing my agent to try to get it out there, but I haven't had any meetings off of it yet. Maybe once the first arc is done. I'm not totally sure how moving from IP into film and TV works.
Okay. Yeah, the first issue pretty much talks about Matt Travers and Ava, and how the industry kind of duplicate like body parts.
Yeah, so the first issue kind of focuses on Pamela, and she's your entry into the world and how everything functions in the world. So when you get sick, the technology that Matt created is these 3D duplicant organs that are a perfect match for you. So you get this organ, but no one can afford it, but you don't have any other choice because human organs are completely illegal. So you're thrown into this like massive amount of debt, and then you get auctioned off on top of it. So then you're not only, are you like, you're like, well, great, I survived the pandemic, but now I'm doing this work that I hate, and I'm probably going to be doing it the rest of my life.
So you're like, kind of like being bought from the highest bidder, and then you're actually kind of like their servants or so.
Pretty much, yeah. Whatever it is that they choose to do. I mean, the idea of the system is to put you into a job that kind of goes with your skill set. So it's not like a totally horrible thing, but more often than not, as we see with Pamela, you're thrown into work that isn't even allowed to be happening, but is still happening regardless.
Gotcha. All right. So so we have the character Ava, and Ava's is Matt's coworker.
Yes.
Right. Okay. And then you have the kind of church society. Forgot what's it called?
Oh, I can't pronounce it myself. It's the Asclepius project, and they're the black market for human organs.
Okay.
So they're kind of like an alternative if you don't want to use the duplicant organs, but it's highly illegal, and they're not necessarily sourcing people the way they would, back in our system right now, where like, you go through the donation program, or like, you're on the list for a human organ. So it's shady, and it's got a whole like cultish religious tones to it, but a lot of people don't want to be put into the duplicant system. And so even though they know that this isn't the best way, as we see with this family with their child, they opt to go into it anyway. But as we see at the end of that issue, the woman's husband basically sacrificed his life so that his child could live. But then they took her child away because she used, human organs illegally to save her son. Right.
So it says, towards the end, Pamela, the main duplicant, so she dies, and then they're kind of wondering what happened, or if is the nanas, they're not responding or so.
So she's been told that there's a fatal flaw with the duplicant organs, that the nanobots that are in there that kind of help maintain the organ, that they can be activated to kill you. And so when she dies at the end of the issue, because, she's escaped from her job, she's basically on the run. And so you don't know, like, what happened? Did the nanobots get activated? Did she just die just because? Like, we don't know. So that's the mystery that Matt is trying to solve, is whether his duplicant organs have been compromised in some way, and whether he starts looking in issue 2 with whether Robert, who's the head of the black market, is the one that maybe compromised the organs in the first place, because Matt and Robert used to work together until Robert decided all technology was bad, and he had this massive religious awakening and started this sort of cult that he runs.
So in one of the panels, Robert was actually taking organs from another. Is it another priest or something? Was that
Yeah,
him?
so the pastor that's in issue one is taken and willingly sacrifices his life to provide healthy organs for those in their flock that are sick.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting because Robert is actually the head guy and he's actually doing the organ, taking out the organs and stuff. So
yeah, because he's also a surgeon. He's got, I get into that more in actually issue 4, like what his background is.
All right.
And I kind of go into issue 4, like the history of him and Matt before they break apart. Yeah. And so, yeah, that's one of the things that he is in charge of, is doing these surgeries, because he's the most highly trained person in his organization, so to speak, that can do this stuff.
Gotcha. All right. So as we go on, so Matt is trying to figure out like what's causing the malfunction or why the duplicants are dying, right?
Yeah, that's just it. He's trying to figure out whether his tech was responsible for Pamela's death or not.
Right. So he's thinking it might be Robert?
He's thinking it might be Robert, and so his journey will be to figure out, is it Robert or is it someone else? So he's trying to figure out what's happening, and then as you saw at the end of issue 2, there might be other forces at play trying to stop him from finding out the truth.
Right, because in like one panel, like they were saying it might be an inside job.
Yeah, so they're also looking into whether Robert has someone in where Matt works. Matt works at a company called Regenerous Tech. So they're researching whether Robert has a mole in the company that's helping him access the program and mess with it in some way.
As I read it, it's like I thought it was Ava. I'm like, can I get that correlation? Like who's like responsible? Like, it's pretty cool.
Thanks.
Joe. Okay, so we got Johnny Funko. How are you? Nice of you to stop in. Got Joe 47771. How's everybody doing? So you started like 3 years ago. Is that correct?
No, longer than that. Yeah, I think the pilot script was written in like 2013, 2014, but the first issue was written in 2015.
2015, wow. And then 2018, from the fan letter, you had your first child, right? Your son?
I had my first child in 2017. And so he was born in October of 2017. And then I was writing issue 2 for my publisher at the time, which was a different publisher, like in January, February. So it wasn't that long after he was born that I was like juggling, trying to meet the deadline that they kind of threw at us out of nowhere for this publisher. And then they ended up dropping the book anyway, which was a bit of a bummer. But that's also why there was such a long lag between issues, because they picked it up like right after I'd published issue 1, they picked it up. And so we were held up with like contract negotiations for myself and my artist. And then Mariana ended up leaving because she was just like, these guys are never going to make this book. She just didn't trust them anymore. Gotcha. And so I got the book back. And
you had to use your own money to pay for the book. Is that correct?
Well, one of the reasons I stuck with this publisher was because they were one of the only ones I could find that actually did pay to make the book. So I was like, well, let me stick with them because they pay everything. They pay all the production costs. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this otherwise, but I probably should have pulled the plug sooner. I just was like holding on to it for so long because of the finances. And so when they dropped the book because Mariana left and I got the book back, I was like, well, I put so much work into this and I love this concept so much. And I feel like I have something special here. So that's what made me finally like do the loan to keep going with it. And then I was like, well, let me see if I can make Kickstarter work. And Kickstarter was definitely kind of diving into the deep end of the pool, which is why I talked to like everyone I could. And that's part of like the comic community being so awesome. When I decided I wanted to do a Kickstarter, I found all these great people that were willing to just get on the phone with me and talk me through the do's and the don'ts with a Kickstarter, which really helped prepare me for what to expect when I ran my first one.
Gotcha. I saw your IG post. You had like some cards cards, or are those the Kickstarter?
Yeah, so those were some of the Kickstarter stretch goals that I did. And so what I've been trying to do every time an issue hits stores is go to the stores that are local to me and drop off the cards so that the store can give them out with the people that buy the book.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Brandon Looney Tunes Fans 2000. How are you? Nice to stop there. Long name.
The question to ask Looney Tunes is Gossamer his favorite?
Oh. Yeah, Brandon, is that your favorite?
Who's your favorite Looney Tunes?
Yeah, who's your favorite Looney Tunes, Brandon? All right, so issue 2, as I read issue 1 and on to like issue 2, Matt is actually trying to find out what's causing the death of the Duplicants, and then he actually goes to Pamela's house, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Trying to talk to his mom, but she wouldn't have anything with it, because I guess she's still, having that grieving process that her daughter died, and why they killed her, or why the duplicant didn't work, or vice versa, or.
So Pamela lived on her own, but her mother was obviously an important part of her life. So one of the things Matt felt compelled to do was he felt so guilty and just this like sense of like, I'm responsible for this tech. I created this tech. So everyone that has this tech, I'm responsible for. He's not happy with the way the system has been set up to profit off his invention, but he doesn't have a whole lot of control or say over that. And so when Pamela dies in his arms, he's like, I have to go to her family and just be like, I'm on top of this. I'm going to do everything I can to figure out what happened and find out the truth. And the mother, I mean, it's like, we're literally probably like not even 24 hours after Pamela has died, and she just doesn't want to hear it because she knows what happened to Pamela in issue 1. She knows how she was hurt. And so she's more intimately in tune with like the bad stuff that's happening with the duplicant organ program that Matt, maybe because he's working in the company and he's been so focused on trying to find a vaccine and hoping that the fail safes that they put in, so that stuff that like what happened to Pamela doesn't happen to people who are purchased, that he doesn't have his eyes totally open to all the actual true horrors that are happening. And so what happened with Pamela kind of opens his eyes to a bunch of stuff, like the fact that his tech might be compromised and that there's other things happening with the duplicants that are just not what he ever wanted at all. Yeah,
so that part, it kind of took me back to Robert, because they used to work together.
Yeah.
And that scenario kind of got me like, yeah, it might be Robert, but it might be somebody else. So,
you don't know. I keep throwing people at you.
That was a good part. That was a good part. So in issue 2, Sean, I believe Sean is his bodyguard. Is that correct?
So Sean is the head of the in-house police department at Regeneris Tech, but he's been put in charge of making sure Matt's safe, because Matt obviously is like crucial to the company. He's the face of the duplicant program, and he's also working on trying to find a vaccine. Right. So Francis, who's the owner, head of Regeneris, has been like, Sean, you need, because they're friends already, like they're already friends. So he's just like, you got to protect him and make sure that he's safe, especially after what happened with Pamela, because the threats against Matt have increased because of that incident.
Right. So Francis, she's like the CEO or something like that. Is that correct?
So she's like the CEO of Regeneris Tech, and then she's also recently become head of like a global group of businesses that are all, I tried to think of them kind of like an Amazon, you know what I mean? Like businesses that have offices all over the world. And so because in this world, government is much more handicapped, they don't have as strong a control over people's lives. Okay, yeah. The businesses have kind of taken over that role. And because it's a global community, it made sense for these businesses to kind of like come together to form their own sort of coalition.
Gotcha. Okay. So she sets off with setting Sean to, I guess, protect Matt.
To protect Matt, and he's also in charge of the hunt for the mole in the company.
Yeah, then when we go to like towards the ending part, it was like they were coming out, and then they got attacked, and then Matt got put in the car, in the truck. Then you see Sean on the floor. Then it's like, oh man, what's going on?
Yeah, they got a bit of a beat down.
Right. Yeah. I'm like, man, okay, that's cool. Like, what happened next? So what is your project? How did you meet Mariana, the artist?
Oh, so Mariana's based in Poland,
Okay.
and fun fact, I've actually never spoken to her on the phone. She only feels comfortable by email. She feels like her English is stronger on email than that's why I haven't talked to her on the phone. And so I met her through my friend Ryland Grant. Ryland has a new comic that's coming out soon called Suicide Jockeys from Source Point. And then he just did The Jump and Peacekeepers on Kickstarter. And he also did Banjax and Aberrant for Action Labs like a couple of years ago. So I knew him from my comic book writing class, and he hooked me up with this guy, Carol, who has all these overseas artist connections. And he hooked me up with a bunch of different artists. And so I looked at all the art, and Mariana was the one that stood out to me the most because it looked like she could get the faces right. Because a lot of my comic, you need to really get the emotion correct.
Okay.
So that's the cover by Layla.
Yeah, these are nice covers.
Yeah, so Layla Del Duca did those covers. She's amazing. And Owen Gianni does the colors on my covers.
Okay. Yeah, these are nice covers.
Thanks.
So how did you meet Layla?
So Layla, I met my friend Him Kartak, who does Redshift for Scout. He also did Boy One for IDW.
Okay.
On Boy One, Layla did one of his covers. And so when I was looking for a cover artist, he connected me with Layla. And so she's just been awesome enough to continue to stay on to do all the covers. She's actually working on the cover for issue 5 right now. She just finished the inks and sent it off to Owen for coloring.
Nice. Yeah. The covers caught my eye. I think it catch a lot of people's eyes. But there's a writing class or a art class that you had to go to?
Yeah, so I didn't feel like I could write a comic book without taking a class to kind of understand the mechanics of how it works.
Okay.
And I also, at the time when, conventions were still happening, I went to like every panel I could on how comic books were made, like panels about like the inker, the colorist, the letterer, all that, editors, all that. So I really understood it top to bottom. And I took 2 comic book writing classes at Meltdown Comics in West Hollywood. Sadly, Meltdown Comics is defunct because a developer bought out the entire block.
Oh, wow. All right.
But the guy who taught the classes, Jim Higgins, he was an editor at DC Comics previously, and he actually still runs the class. I think it's just online still. I don't think he's moved back to in-person classes, but he still does run the class online.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, that's pretty interesting. Will you be going to conventions?
I'm trying to figure out if I can make any in Florida, because that's where a lot of the people that work with my publisher are based. And so they're doing a lot more in Florida than anywhere else. And Marvin Wynn, who does The Edge, he's doing a bunch in Pennsylvania. He lives in Pittsburgh, and I live on the other side of the state. So we're trying to find a couple that maybe we could meet in the middle and share a table. And then if I can figure it out financially, I'd love to go back to San Diego. I think it's happening in November this year. I know I'd get a free badge, but then it's the whole trying to figure out a place to stay, which is usually tricky. But I wouldn't have a table at that. I'd just be going as like an attendee.
So you're on the East Coast?
I'm on the East Coast now. I moved after my son was born, like probably when he was about 10 months old, because I couldn't afford to stay, unfortunately, in California.
Okay.
And it was cheaper to live in Pennsylvania, but we're hoping at some point to get back to the West Coast.
So Second Sight Publishing is located in Florida? Or
Marcus is located in Florida. Bradley is located in Mississippi, and Spike is in Florida too. They're the heads of the company, and then Peter, who's our publicist, is in Canada.
Oh wow!
So they're kind of all over.
All right, nice. So you have I believe the covers to issue 3 that's coming out already. Is that correct or no?
Yeah. So issue 3, the pre-orders I think just closed, and so that's going to be Ava is the cover of issue 3. And for her, the organ that's like failing on her is her eyes. So they're kind of flying out from her body.
Oh, okay. All right. So, Ava, yeah, she was kind of interesting, but in her bedroom, she was she thinking about Robert? Is that correct?
No, she's thinking about Matt.
Oh, Matt. Okay, but for some reason, when I'm reading it, it kind of like she had like a flashback or something, talking to the computer. Is that correct?
No, she is. Hold on, let me see. Let me flip through the book real quick. Are you thinking of this page? Because this is.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah.
So this is Ava, and she's just in her bathroom talking to her shower.
Right.
She has like a running joke of she always has trouble with her computer. Her computer's always doing things that she doesn't want it to do. So that's like her running joke. And then
how about this?
Where is it? In issue 2, she's in her house and she's knitting. Yeah.
This
and
one,
so she's talking about Matt because she's in love with Matt. So
that's what
she's talking about Matt, and her computer is, kind of thwarting her efforts and making things a little stressful for her.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I kind of figured out she was kind of interested in Matt.
Yeah.
But so Matt's family pretty much passed away from the pandemic, correct?
They passed away from the pandemic, and so that was his inciting incident to create these duplicant organs.
Gotcha. All right. So towards the ending, when Matt got into the black car, the trunk, and then you see Sean on the floor, then that I don't know, the cliffhanger is like, wow, okay, what's going to happen in the next issue?
What's going to happen next?
Right. Yeah, looking forward to the next issue. Yeah. So, can you tell a little bit about the next issue or no?
Yeah, I can tell a little bit about it. So we pick up basically almost exactly where we end in issue 2. And I'm trying to make sure that there's like a previously on. The previously on, I'm not quite sure what happened. It didn't make it into issue 2 because, I want to make sure people who missed like a previous issue, they can kind of pick up and keep going. But in issue 3, it's going to be trying to find Matt. That's like the big thing. Is Matt alive? Is he okay? Is he going to survive the issue?
Okay.
So it's my most action-packed issue because of the circumstances of what happens at the end of 2. And then the hunt for the mole intensifies at the same time.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Those are the 2 big things that happen in that issue.
Yeah, I'm interested to see who's the mole.
And there's more flashbacks of Matt's life when his family was still alive. So we kind of see what his life was like before everything fell apart.
Nice. Okay. All right. So what are your plans for this year besides getting more issues out?
So issue 5, the interiors are being drawn right now.
Okay.
And so issue 4 is going to come out in November because they decided to have October just be a horror month of comics. So there'll be a bit of a lag between 3 in August and 4 in November, and then 5 will be January. And then I should be working with Friction on a short comic that I'm doing with them. I think we're going to start arting it at the end of the year. And the main thing that I'm doing right now, other than my children's book, is working on the pilot that I'm working on with Sapphire Sandalo. She's a paranormal expert and animator from the Philippines. So we're trying to finish the pilot on that because we did a pitch for it, but everyone wanted to see the pilot because we haven't written a pilot episode together yet. So they want to make sure that our styles mesh in that way.
Oh, wow. Okay. So those are the other projects that you're doing, pilot?
Yeah. And then I have another short comic that I want to do, but I don't know if it's better to wait until I find like an anthology to put it in. And I have an idea for an anthology I want to do, but I need to figure that out because it's a timing thing. And like, I got to find like someone to work with on it because I don't think I could manage it all myself.
All right. Hey, Jaguar, how you doing? Nice of you to stop in. So we are talking to Karla Nappi. So she is the writer of Duplicant. So yeah, great book. This is issue 1 and this is issue 2. So yeah, issue 1 was sold out. I went back to see if they have any more, and they don't have any more. It's like all sold out.
Oh, that's good. I know my publisher reopened orders for issue 1 because I think Diamond had like closed it.
Okay.
And then I think they got it reopened. So because I saw when I went to one of the stores that carries it near me, they had sold out, but then they had more of one to go along with two.
Yeah, when I try to get issue 2, this is like the only copy that I got. So
oh,
like,
wow. Well, that's good.
All sold out. Right around here, they're all sold out. So
oh, great.
Is good. Yeah.
Are you on the West Coast too, like the other Spine Six dudes?
I am near Chicago.
Oh, great. Nice.
Yeah.
Chicago. All right.
Yeah, so I'm in the Midwest.
You're in the middle.
Right, I'm in the middle. So yeah, are you planning to go to the Wizard World, Chicago Wizard World?
I haven't looked. When is that one? I haven't looked into that one actually.
October, I believe 15th, 16th, and 17th.
I mean, I would be down to go. I probably have to look and see what the deal is with getting a badge.
Yeah, true. Yeah. So yeah, it's a 3-day weekend.
Oh, Pepe Le Pew. That's Foghorn Leghorn. Those are all good ones.
It's Foghorn Leghorn.
Those are all good ones. What's up, Doc? Yeah, Bugs Bunny's a classic.
Hey, Lisa Noble, how you doing? So if you're just
I see Daffy Duck, Roadrunner, all of them. So he just loves them all.
So chats, do you guys have any questions for Karla here? So yeah, we are just talking about issue 1 and 2 and what other projects Karla is doing. Pilot, what kind of, is it like another horror pilot? Is it?
Yeah, it's kind of a suspense thriller.
Okay.
So it's set in the Philippines and deals with Philippine folklore around a woman who finds out that she has like a secret past. Her family has like a secret past as healers.
Okay.
And she finds out that her grandfather's been cursed, and so she has to decide if she's going to leave the U.S. to go to the Philippines to try to help him and try to help him break the curse. And it's also her kind of breaking out of the way she thinks things are and learning the way things really are. Because when she gets there, she's going to try to just go traditional medicine, and the doctors are going to be like, no, you need to actually take him to a healer and see if this is something they can break.
Oh, okay. So it's more like kind of like a spiritual, like more paranormal, I would say, right?
Yeah, I would say paranormal, but there's also suspense because she's getting attacked by otherworldly forces that are trying to stop her from breaking this curse.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it's sort of like a coming of age story for her, but I'm really excited about it, and I'm really honored that Sapphire trusted me to kind of bring the story to life because it's inspired partly by her own life and also by the stories her grandfather used to tell her. And he sadly passed away due to COVID over the last year, so it means even more to her now to kind of get this done and get this out there.
Oh, nice. Okay. So Brandon says Elmer Fudd.
Elmer Fudd, yeah.
Is that a troll? Oh, I don't know. I don't know, Angel. Is that a troll? Sounds epic. So yeah, Pilot sounds pretty good.
Thanks.
Brandon. Yes, you love the Looney Tunes. Okay. Lisa, what else? Karla, what else are you planning to do besides trying to get to conventions in Florida and other Pilot and other books and stuff?
I'm trying to see if I can hook up a couple signings. I have one in Bethlehem in August.
Where is Bethlehem? What?
So Bethlehem, Pennsylvania is near Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And then I'm trying to see if I can hook up a couple of signings in New Jersey, but it's actually been kind of hard to hook up signings. My friend Himkar, who does Redshift, we've been trying to do like joint signings. So he's going to be at the one in Bethlehem at Jaff Comics.
So is San Diego your favorite convention in San Diego, or? I
would say WonderCon was my favorite convention. I love San Diego. I mean, the great thing about when I lived in Los Angeles was I had, I could drive to San Diego, I could drive to Anaheim for WonderCon, and then I could drive to Long Beach for the Long Beach Comic Cons, which happen twice a year. And I could also go to Los Angeles Comic Con, although that one keeps changing names. It was like Spike Lee's Comic Con, and then I don't know what it's called now.
Oh, really? Okay, Spike Lee.
Yeah, it was originally Spike Lee's Comic Con. It's changed names like 3 times. I don't know what it's called. Oh, someone's daughter lives in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Angel's daughter lives in Pennsylvania. Nice. So Angel lives in Puerto Rico.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, Paige lives in Plastic. He lives in Puerto Rico. Oh, that's cool.
That is cool.
So does your husband like comics too?
Yeah, he likes comics. He's actually a pretty big gamer. When he still had time before we had our son, he used to do D&D every week for like 5 to 6 hours at least.
Wow.
With the same group of people from high school. And they've been bugging him to come back. It's just he works so late. He works until like 8 o'clock at night.
Oh, okay.
And then that's when I get to do my work is when he takes over to watch our son. So it's just been a little difficult for him to get back into the D&D. But his desktop, he made himself. He built it as like a gaming computer. So he's got Steam. He's a total Steamer. He's got a million different games on there. And I remember the days when I used to just like sit and watch him play. Like Fallout was like so engrossing. I could just sit and watch him play Fallout.
Wow. That's cool. Sleeping Comics, how you doing? Nice of you to stop in. So yes, I believe Sleeping Comics, he's up in Minnesota, I believe.
Oh, all right, cool.
Yeah. So you got people from all around the world too. So
awesome.
Have you been to other places besides the U.S.? Have you been to other overseas? Yeah,
in high school I went for we had a humanities program that was unique to our high school, and it was a senior year of high school, and they would take us for a week to look at all the stuff we had been studying in the humanities class in England. So we went to England for a week, and that was the first time I went overseas. And then in college, I studied with the BBC in London for a semester. So I was there for like 4 months, which was awesome.
That's cool.
And I miss London desperately because I loved it there. And then I went to France while I was there for like a quick weekend trip. And then we did a cruise for a honeymoon through the Caribbean.
Okay.
And then I think, and I've been up to Canada twice. I've been to Toronto when I went for shooting of my episode of Suits. And then I went to, I want to say Victoria, Canada.
What is
with my sister? Like we drove up because she lived in Washington State, so we drove into Canada.
Did you go through Niagara Falls too, or no?
No, I haven't been to Niagara Falls yet.
Yeah, we've been there. We've been there once. My wife and I went there once. We just took the ferry, and it takes you like close to the falls too. That was pretty cool.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I always think of Superman when I think of Niagara Falls.
All right, let's check the chats here. Daffy Duck and the dinosaur. Okay. Notice cartoon. Question, Karla. Karla Nappi, do you collect action figures?
I don't collect action figures, actually, but I've been contemplating trying to figure out making some for Duplicant. I have Lewis, who the Shadow Rabbit guy. He's made a couple of wax figures for me for Duplicant, and I'm thinking of having him make like a 3D sculpture for Duplicant. But yeah, I know Marvin has action figures that he does for his comic, The Edge. So I've been trying, I really need to talk to him and see how he gets it done to see if it makes sense financially for me to try to do some with Duplicant.
Right. That'd be pretty cool. I mean, your own action figure. Yankee Doodle.
Brandon, he's so funny.
Okay, what's this one here?
It's true. He never catches the Roadrunner.
Yeah, that Roadrunner
never happens. And Acme. Every time I see Acme, I always think of this cartoon.
So did you watch a lot of cartoons when you were growing up?
I did. I lived on cartoons. Absolutely. I was growing up during the age of like the original She-Man and He-Ra and Voltron and Looney Tunes before they started to like censor them a little bit. Like one of my favorite ones was the dog that keeps using the cat to get food for himself. And every time the cat comes back with the food, he's like, "Did you remember the gravy?" And the cat never remembers the gravy. So at the end, when the cat and the mouse flip the tables on the dog, they've like got him tied down. They've let him eat himself sick in like a butcher shop. Then as he's laying there and his stomach is like this because he's eating himself sick, they come in with a funnel and they're like, "We didn't forget the gravy this time." Yeah, all right.
Nice.
But they cut that out when they started like censoring those cartoons. They cut out the last part of them pouring the gravy into the dog. I guess they thought that was too violent.
Oh man, all right. How about Tom and Jerry? You like Tom and Jerry?
I did. I liked Tom and Jerry, but Looney Tunes was definitely my. If I had to like pick between the two, I liked Looney Tunes better than Tom and Jerry.
Nice. So, do you ever get into different mediums in the comic industry?
As far as like different genres?
Yeah, different genres. Like, what do you like to read in comics?
Oh, so right now I just picked up the second volume of Bitterroot by David Walker.
Yeah, nice.
I really enjoyed the first volume.
Okay.
And White Ash is one of my favorite series. It's a well, now it's through Scout, but it originally was a Kickstarter series. And then what else am I reading right now? I just got like a ton of Kickstarter books in the mail that I have to read. And Fables is one of my favorite series. That was probably the first book that I got into really collecting was Fables.
Is that DC Vertigo or something like that? Or
Vertigo. Vertigo right? Doesn't exist anymore, right? Didn't they shutter that?
Yeah, I think they shut that down. I think it's a part of DC Comics.
Yeah, which is a shame because Vertigo was doing good stuff.
I love all cartoons.
Especially the oldies. Yeah, they just don't make. I mean, listen, it's not that like cartoons are bad now. I'm definitely getting my fill of cartoons with my 3-year-olds, but they're just different.
So you have 2 kids, 1 kid?
No, one kid.
One. Yeah. Okay. So he's 4 now. Is that right?
He'll be 4 in October.
October. Okay. How well can we get that? I don't know, Brandon. How does he get the Roadrunner? Looney Tunes, Mice, Hubbies, and Birdie. Okay.
I think I know what he's talking about. Yeah. There's so many characters in that universe.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And a lot of them are obscure because they didn't always get like a ton of screen time. So your Duplicant is I think it's a good book. It's Thank you.
It's sold out, so it's a great book. I mean, it's if you guys haven't picked this up, go pick this up. This is a great book. It's a good read.
Thank you.
All right, Karla, are you going to be on Spine Ticks again?
I'm sure I will.
All right, because I believe I'm supposed to be there Saturday.
I think he's got the creator of Bloom on there for Saturday. Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. Yeah. I don't know if I might not be there. I might be there. We'll see.
Did you make the whole 8 hours on Saturday?
No, I only made 2 hours. That's it.
You only made 2 hours. All right. Yeah, they went like 8 hours.
You stayed the whole 8 hours?
No. I think I did like 3 hours, and that's a lot for me.
So that'd be like 2 o'clock in the morning or so for you?
It was 1. It was after 1. Yeah, I think it was after 1 a.m. Yeah, I was tired.
I left like a little bit after midnight.
Yeah.
I can't take it. I'm like, I gotta go to sleep.
Yeah, I don't know how Sith does it. It's like,
the
8 hours character will not be. Oh, that's a good question. I don't know.
Looney Tunes characters. Oh, okay. Space Jams.
I don't know who's not going to be in there.
Jams? Do you like Space Jams?
I feel like I watched it and liked it, but it's been so long since I've seen it. I don't totally remember it.
I think the first one with Michael Jordan, right?
Yeah, I mean, that came out forever ago at this point.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions for Miss Karla Nappi here, guys? All right. Karla, well, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's nice meeting you. Yeah, first time I met you was actually that last week on Spine Ticks. So yeah, we had fun on that Spine Ticks. Yeah, Steve Sith Lord Lee. Yeah, he does a great job on that channel. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you again. Thanks for stopping in and
thank you.
For the interview. Guys, nice. This is a nice book. Great book. Go pick this up. This is Duplicant. Writer Karla Nappi. All right, guys. Karla, anything else you want to add or?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram under musingsbycrazed, and my website is myname.com. And I should have another Kickstarter for issue 5 in, I'm thinking, September.
September, nice. Okay. Jerry, this is Jerry the
Jerry.
Great interview. Nice. Thanks, Jerry. So I got a great guest. Nice to nice to hear you.
Thank you.
Lisa, gonna check it out.
Oh, yay.
Joe,
Thank you.
grab some book. All right, guys. So Karla, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
All right. So if you want to, we can talk again.
Okay, cool.
All right, sounds good. So
right.
IG me or I can IG you. Go check Karla out on Instagram. So I'll leave her link down below in the description here after we are done. Did I do that or no? But I'll leave her IG description down here in the description box when we're done. All right,
Thank
Jaguar.
you.
All right, guys. Karla, have a good night.
Thank you too.
All right, thanks for stopping in.
Okay.
All right, take it easy, guys. Have a good night, everybody. So this is Karla Nappi of Duplicant. All right, take it easy, guys. Have a good night, Karla.
Have a good night.
Okay, bye, everybody.